Hey, you're about to watch a clip from my Empty Opinions podcast. If you would like to check out the full episode, you can listen to it with the links in the description below. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the clip. I'll talk about the protests that are happening in Kenosha because of the shooting. So naturally, it shouldn't surprise anybody that this Jacob Blake situation is now causing a lot of people to protest, right? The fuck is going on, police department? You need to arrest this guy, and you need to fucking do something about whatever the fuck is happening in Kenosha, right? Totally fair. But with the protests, unfortunately, there are certain people. There come the rioters and the looters, which we've seen when George Floyd was murdered. We saw those people come out. You know, I mean, it was a national crisis, just how many stores were getting looted. But we see that happens. So that is happening. The protests are happening, and then this situation is so fucking crazy. A militia gets involved, multiple, I believe. I don't know, but the right-wing militias are now feeling like the police aren't doing anything with these protests, and now we're gonna take the matters into our own hands, which is vigilantism. Is being a vigilante. Fuck it, vigilantism. I'll say it like I know that that's a real word. This is vigilantism, right? Regardless if you whoever does this, that's the one thing we can say that's fucking working outside of the law to bring justice. Regardless if it's for a good cause or a bad cause, it's still wrong in the eyes of the law. So obviously this is bad regardless of who's doing it. But we're focusing on these right-wing militiamen who are apparently wanting to protect the businesses that could be getting looted. Because like I said, when the George Floyd situation happened, a lot of stores were getting looted, right? So there's right-wing militias that are like, okay, we're going to protect certain businesses. The problem is, again, they're malicious and they're acting as vigilantes. That's not good. That doesn't lead to anything good. And we see that because there was a fucking kid, a 17-year-old kid who killed 2 people, injured one, and shot a lot of them. It's so crazy, the situation. Being a 17-year-old and being part of this right-wing militia, which is to protect the businesses. Now, there's a lot of detail I can get into, right? Like, apparently this kid crossed state lines, but it was only like a 20-minute, car ride, so that doesn't make it that crazy that it crossed state lines, but it does, because that's when the FBI gets involved, because it's carrying an illegal firearm from state to state. The Federal Bureau of Investigation gets involved. I can't believe I know what the FBI stands for, but yeah. So that happens. The FBI is going to get involved regardless because it's crossing state lines. So crossing state lines, as much as people don't want to admit that it's not a big deal, it is, because it becomes a federal crime. But regardless, that's besides the point. This 17-year-old kid, part of a right-wing militia, has a gun, which he's 17, he's underage. He shouldn't have. He should not have an AR-15. Right? He is part of this right-wing militia. This video comes out from the protest without any context. This is what's so crazy. Whenever a video gets released on the internet without context, you best believe people are going to create some scenarios in their heads that are 99% of the time not going to be true. So this video comes out of this kid tripping, a bunch of protesters running at him. So this is a white kid with a gun, with a firearm, bunch of people running at him. This kid shooting at the protesters, getting up, walking past police, and leaving. I first learned of this video on a subreddit called Actual Freakouts. And I mean, people were on this kid's side. And reading all the comments, I was just like, yeah, I can see why they're on their side. Because like, oh, he's just defending himself. Knowing no context, by the way. There's no context behind this video. At least for me at this point. I see this video of this kid shooting a bunch of people that are coming after him. I'm like, okay, I can see how this is self-defense. But then details come out, and the more details that come out, the worse this fucking kid is. Look, I'm not even going to learn his name. I don't give a fuck about learning his name. It's just a 17-year-old kid who killed 2 people, injured 1. So here's what actually happened. The facts are coming out. And there's probably going to be more and more facts about this. But basically, here's what happened. This kid who's part of this right-wing militia, 17 years old. Apparently, somebody throws something at him. One of the protesters throws something at this kid with the AR-15. The kid, naturally, shoots him in the head. Because that's what you do, right? When somebody throws something at you, you just fucking kill them in cold blood. Yes. The kid does that. Protesters realize that he just fucking killed somebody, or at least shot them, and they run after him to try to get the gun away from him. The kid with the gun trips. Either they throw something at him again that makes him fall, or he just trips on his own, but he trips. Bunch of people start running at him to try to take the fucking gun away that he just killed somebody with. Right? He shoots like 3 of them because they're coming after him. Later we find out, I think one of those people died and one of those people was injured. He gets up, walks past police, waves at them, says, "Oh, I'm no threat, guys. I'm not doing anything." Right? Just do this. There's nothing going on here. Right? The police just let him go. As the protesters are yelling, "He just shot these people. He just shot these people." Right? Like they're yelling this. Police does nothing. Next day, so that was like Wednesday night, I believe. So, or Tuesday night. Then Wednesday in the morning, or Wednesday just in general, the kid finally gets fucking arrested. And now this is when the story fucking blows over. Now it's when all the details are coming out, which are what I just mentioned to you. And then on top of that, there's footage of police talking to this kid and them just kind of conversating and chilling. So now there's proof that they were kind of working with each other, which then adds context and explains why the police kind of just let this kid go. If you don't understand how fucking crazy this situation is, then I mean, good for you. You're a blissful person right now. Ignorance is bliss. You might be the happiest person on earth right now. But this situation is so fucking insane that the police were working with a right-wing militia because they felt like, and this is the thing. I saw a tweet that was talking about why this could have been, right? And the thing is that it's very possible that police are feeling this pressure from all sides, being defunded, being abolished, having this nasty connotation, that now they feel so oppressed that they are going to take help from anybody. And who that anybody turns out to be? Right-wing militias who are now helping the cops. Fucking crazy situation. And so then this is where we're at right now, where the Jacob Blake situation has led to protests, and then the protests have led to the police not really handling this thing right and feeling, oppressed by the world. And then that leads to right-wing militia, like regular civilians with guns, helping the cops. If this isn't the beginning of the race war, I don't know what it is. Because obviously, and I say right-wing, a lot of these people are probably racist. I don't want to assume, but yeah. And look, a lot of people are saying that, and listen, I haven't put any intention behind what this kid did. I'm not saying this kid went there to kill people. He's certainly armed in a hostile situation. Put 2 and 2 together. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I can't say if he wanted to or not, but him being in that situation wasn't going to lead to anything good. What's my overall point with that? My overall point with that is just that when the Jacob Blake situation couldn't get worse, and the scrutiny of the Milwaukee police, or at least Kenosha police department, couldn't get worse, they start working with right-wing militias, and then this happens where some people are dead, killing protesters because they're helping the cops. If that's not proof, I think the whole point of this story, the whole point of this situation is that if that's not enough proof to you that things need to change with the police, then I don't know what the fuck is. I don't know I don't know what could be proof. Like, I don't know what you could think. I don't know how you can't see that something needs to happen. It's almost like, if anything, like my thing, well, already, like I said, I talked about it in episode, I don't remember, episode 78 maybe, Reform the Police. Talked about this, but you need to reform the police. There's no further thing. And I mean, when the police are working with right-wing militia, something's wrong, so fucking fix it. So that's where I stand with the protests in Kenosha, and how crazy that came out of this Jacob Blake situation. It just shows Out of all places, if you thought wherever the George Floyd situation happened in, if you thought that police department was bad, you have not seen the Kenosha, the KPD, the Kenosha Police Department, where they're openly working with